Hello, I'm Ryan F9, and this is a 263-pound Anus. Oh, sorry, a Janus. Admittedly, I only recently discovered that such a motorcycle exists. When a famous YouTuber crashed one, then another YouTuber said it wasn't her fault, then she said it was, then another famous YouTuber said it was definitely the bike, then Mr. Beast killed a kid, then we held a public crucifixion for the crash victim, covering up that the newfangled machine was really a dastardly danger to society. So, yes, the Janus is dangerous, but it should be.
It's a hootenanny to ride, thanks to this sidecar fork from 70 years ago.
See, sidecars steer by force, so they need a rigid front triangle against that side loading. Leading link front ends are also inherently anti-dive. The rotor tries to pull its caliper and the swing arm it's mounted to into extension.
Handy for keeping a tripod in shape, but also susceptible to plowing the front tire.
But the sneaky reason sidecars ran these is the adjustable trail. Now, trail is how far your contact patch lags behind the steering axis. And when a motorcycle leans, the ground pushing up on the trailing point is what turns the wheel over in that direction, steering it back under the bike. So lean, steer, correct.
This creates an inherent weave that is not just something to be tolerated, it's something required for a motorcycle to be rideable.
The more trail you have, the more there is keeping the motorcycle upright, and the more force it takes to initiate a turn. So sidecar rigs love leading links because you can put two trail pivots. A normal one for when you're using the motorcycle solo, and a short one for when you have a car attached. And less steering force is handy on an already cumbersome rig, and less self-balancing effect doesn't matter when you have a third wheel. Of course, if you don't...
It's so tippy! The bar oscillations are probably 3 or 4 hertz, and this tops my 67 Conquistador as the liveliest bike I've ever ridden! And if you think the front suspension is sketchy, wait until you hear about how the rear is sprung.
It's not. You cannot be a passenger on a hardtail. Balls of your feet, jockeying the pegs over bumps. Otherwise the whole thing bounces, comes down slightly offline, and starts dancing.
I think that's what happened here. You can see the speedo jump, suggesting it's briefly airborne before the wobble.
But Doodle maintains it's not the bike's fault, and since she was in the front seat and we're all straddling our keyboards, we should believe her. So why is the motorcycle built this way, and why is that okay?
Well, as a team of 28 scooter heads in Goshen, Indiana, one of the only ways to hand-build a motorcycle is to use a leading link. The design requires welded tubing instead of precision machine telescopes. The tanks are also hand-shaped. The pinstripes are hand-painted by a woman named Kelly. And poor Kelly will lay any of 16 colors, 11 pinstripes, 11 secondary pinstripes, 5 logo highlights, 2 logo outlines, 3 leather finishes, the option to color match the frame, to add a wheel pinstripe, to add a fishtail exhaust, polished engine fins, and 3 fuel cap choices, or a custom engraving makes 3,717,120 possible permutations, and that's not even starting on accessories like, how cute is this? A picnic basket.
The leatherwork is stitched by Indiana's finest, and the frame is also Amish built, welded off the grid via diesel generators.
And it's a legendary one. That single length of tube that comes down, under, up, and back around itself, known in racing as a featherbed.
See, one loop of metal is just one big spring, and with all the space in the middle, a small company like Janus can move the engine fore, aft, up, down, to find the sweet spot of handling. It's an analog version of the flex optimization that Ducati does today with supercomputers, but this is how Norton did it 70 years ago, and this is the only way a passion company like Janus can do it themselves.
Of course, 28 people can't carve every piece from the earth. I'm seeing Koso gauges, Biltwell grips, Emgo shift lever, the conspicuously Chinese CG250.
Designed by Honda to be a CB for the world beyond dealerships, we're talking 2 valves on 1 cam lobe, on 1 cam gear, way down in the oil bath. It's pushing 2 chody little push rods. There's no internal chain wear, there's no tensioner to adjust. It doesn't make a Shetland pony above 14 horsepower, and it's not as accentuating as the V's and H's and 4s they were trying during the Cambrian explosion, but it is a rock.
1,186 bikes into this production run, Janus has never blown a motor. They know their problems, and they know they're almost exclusively carburation.
Old African Hondas, carbon rubbed by the Chinese, are not renowned for their efficiency, so Janus is grinding and machining their own carb needles and atomizers to get past the EPA. It makes it quite cold-blooded and quick to clog, especially if you put ethanol in it, but how many manufacturers can say that they're making their own carb internals?
So we land at our first solution. The Janus is dangerous because it's the only way to hand-build one. They didn't design something risky because they're incompetent. They designed something risky because it's beautiful. Because we have enough safety and never enough beauty in this world. And it's okay to be mad at that. And it's okay to be okay with that. Except, it's not true. See, when this Halcyon 250 was first released, its frame gussets were welded on the front. And since the front of the frame is under tension, that weld creates a stress riser. Nobody notices until studs ride them kind of ragged and find the crack. So Janus files a government recall and drives to every customer, re-welding the gussets on the spot to a more neutral spot. And that's why all these welds are now off the center line. And on the road, Janus learns something. Their customers are not hipsters baited by $7,500 of brown matter. They have an average 35 years of riding experience, an average of 6 other bikes in the garage, often sketchy fast vintage mopeds in the line of Janus's own routes. The type of bikes that demand a deft hand. To loonies like me, the type of bikes that are most exciting.
Yes, the Janus is risky because it will hit its ceiling on any given Tuesday. But to those who enjoy playing on the roof, it's arguably a safer choice because I had all that fun at 50 instead of 250. It's like the Toyota GT86 with its skinny little tires that'll break traction in a roundabout, except for that all motorcycles are already a dangerous choice, and that changes the arithmetic. When both these dogs bite, you gotta ask yourself, are most crashes caused by a lack of ability or a lack of attention? Would you rather ride the perilous machine that lulls you into forgetting its perils, or the perilous machine that makes its perils unforgettable?
Build a dangerous bike because you don't know better? I'll call you a fool. Build a dangerous bike because it's beautiful? I'll defend you as an artist. But build a dangerous bike because bikes are dangerous? I'll just ask if I can ride them.
Thank you very much for watching, and if you're curious to try a Janus, I'd recommend our sponsor, RiderShare. Their peer-to-peer rental network is so massive, I even found a rarer Halcyon 450 with its fuel injection and rear suspension. Rent one. You'll either find it delightfully conventional or disappointingly boring by comparison. And if you own an unusual motorcycle, then RS maintenance is a life hack. RiderShare built this software for their own renters to keep track of the needs of their fleet, but anyone can upload their bike and use it for free, getting email or text notifications when it's time for periodic maintenance or important service intervals. As an Excel nerd, I wanted all of that exportable into CSV, and RiderShare is already working on making that happen. And click the link below and get on it. If you notice anything, they'll usually implement good changes within a few days. It's a rad resource.